99 problems, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. They ain't covering my cloth, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 problems, and I still kept it 100. Yeah, who don't play, boom, play, boom, play, play, who don't play.
Music licensing reimagined.
Play, who don't play, boom, play, boom, play, play, who don't play, boom, play, boom, play, play, who don't. Long time coming, black on the bottom of my feet from running. Cataracts under my eyes from hustling. Going from buying to selling to customers. Run up the business, God is my witness. Sun up the sun up from under the sun that we maxing our limits. My mind running like Tom Cruise on an action movie. Moving a mission, they say that I'm tripping. I've been told I need a vacation, I'm finessing a visit.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my post-weigh-in final thoughts for UFC Vegas 103. We have Manel Kape going against Almabaev. We have what is now a 10-fight card. We unfortunately lost the John Castaneda, Douglas Silva de Andrade fight. And then we also unfortunately lost the Luana Carolina, Montana De La Rosa fight. But I'm actually quite happy. I'm happy because we lost a couple fights, but I didn't have any action on either of those fights. Was really not even thinking about betting on those fights. And quite frankly, didn't have a ton of interest in those fights. So I'm happy that, you know, these 10 fights that we have, they're good fights. Outside of the Aldrich Lee fight, like if we could also cancel that fight, maybe have a 9-fight card, it'd be the perfect card. I think it's going to be a fun night of fights. I think we'll get some violence. Last week we had a ton of violence. I think this week we're going to have a lot of violence as well. A lot of spots sticking out. So definitely looking forward to going through it and talking it through with the chat tonight. What is up? Late night stream, but wanted to come on and talk through these 10 fights and see what you guys are liking as well. Before we get into the video, if you guys could do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It is always much appreciated. Going to be going live for Best Bet tomorrow at 3 Eastern. I think the fights are kicking off at 4:30 Eastern. So I think I'm like a 3:15 start time for the Best Bet tomorrow. All right. What is up, everybody in the chat? We got Dixon, the moderator. Doing a great job, Dixon. Smash the like button. I agree. Good to see you, Dixon. We got Christopher saying, yo, badass graphic. Appreciate you, Christopher. New intro is great. Thank you guys. I had to come up with something new because the default StreamYard intro, they like completely changed it up and they made it weird. They made it like elevator music. So I had to actually go out, create the graphics and put a song on. And yeah, that's what I came up with. So I'm going to kind of keep messing around with it. But yeah, it's just a big upgrade from the crap that StreamYard, I don't know what they're doing with that new intro. Brundage, Marquez double KO. I could see it, dude. I could see something crazy like that happening in that co-main event. What a weird fight, dude. Good evening, Brady. Good evening to you as well, Ian. We got Forrest saying Brady with the fire intro. Smash that like button. Appreciate you, Forrest. Good to see you in here. We got Ace of Spade. What's up, Brady? Let's get this money. Let's get it. I'm normally in bed by now. Man, it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock, Dixon. What do you mean you're in bed? What do you mean you're in bed? It's only 10 o'clock. What do you mean you're in bed by now? But yeah, glad you could stop by. Jason in the building. What is up, Jason? Good to see you. All right. I say we get into it here. We're going to start with what is now the first fight of the card. It was supposed to be Luana Carolina. You're an old lady. Oh boy. I did not know that. All right. So yeah, we'll start with the first fight of the night. It was supposed to be Luana Carolina, Montana De La Rosa. It is now Ramazan Temirov going against Charles Johnson. And this is going to be my first bet of the card. I get to hold up my CLV trophy. It's over there. I want to go grab it, but I don't feel like getting up. But yeah, I get to hold it up high and proud because I got Charles Johnson at plus 114. He is currently sitting as a minus 130 favorite. And as we know by now, CLV doesn't really mean anything. Because I remember getting a ton of CLV on Vince Morales. Had like about a whole $1 of CLV and it went terribly wrong. But yeah, I mean, I like Charles Johnson in this fight. I think now at this point, probably the best way to attack this fight from a betting perspective is either taking like Temirov KO1 or live betting Charles Johnson. But yeah, I mean, as an underdog price, I had to bet Charles Johnson. I just think he has way more ways to win. He's the fighter with much more experience especially in the UFC. He's fought the much better level of competition. I see this as like a minute winner versus moment winner type fight where Charles Johnson is going to be doing a lot more, especially as the fight goes on round 2, round 3. I think Johnson has the cardio advantage. I think for, Johnson typically doesn't have the wrestling advantage, but I think he has it here. So yeah, I like Charles Johnson. Outside of, Temirov knocking out Johnson or, landing a couple big shots throughout the fight, I think it's a good spot here for Charles Johnson. So the line has moved. The line has flipped, which, to be honest, I wasn't really expecting that. This Temirov guy, he does have some hype. And I think Charles Johnson always kind of gets counted out. I think I think people kind of underestimate Charles Johnson. But yeah, the line has flipped, and Charles Johnson's now minus 130. Temirov's plus 110. So, yep. Give me Johnson here. I think it's probably by decision. And if you guys saw my tweet on X, do they still call it a tweet since it's not Twitter no more? But yeah, I posted a tweet saying if Charles Johnson wins this fight, I'm actually going to go out and purchase a Scarlet Gang t-shirt off of his website. And then if Charles Johnson wins in round 3, I'm actually going to hit up my barber. And my barber is going to carve a skullet out of my hair. So I didn't bet the Johnson round 3, and I'm actually hoping it doesn't happen because I really don't want to have a skullet. But yeah, if Charles Johnson wins in round 3, I will have a skullet, which is terrifying. So I hope that's not the case. But I hope Johnson does win, and I hope I do get a Charles Johnson t-shirt. I think that'd be pretty cool. All right. Brady working. Yeah, it's a late night, man. Late night, but definitely wanted to come on here and talk some fights. We got Yes Freak saying Scottsdale, Arizona treadmill team has arrived. Let's go. I love it, dude. I love watching and listening to a podcast on the treadmill. So I'm right there with you. I have a walking treadmill desk. I'm always on there. I love the treadmill, dude. So good to see another fellow treadmill guy in the chat here. Click the like button. Appreciate you, Yes Freak. I agree. Evening, everyone. Evening to you as well, Andy. I hope and want Charles to win, but he's so popular this week it concerns me. Yeah, he's popular, man. This line has flipped, but I do see a lot of people on Temirov as well. So we'll see. Johnson by points, good odds, but nervy watch. I think it will be a nervy watch for a couple reasons. For one, Temirov throws with 120% of all his power, and then maybe Johnson does get a late finish. I see some people on the Johnson late finish props, which are always in play, but I do think it's decision. Some round three decision. I like that. I like it. Yeah, classic, better mixed martial artist versus the guy with the finishing equity. Yeah, and if Temirov does knock out Charles Johnson, then good for him. That's a huge feather in his cap because knocking out Charles Johnson is not easy to do. Where are we? What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Where are we? I don't know. We're here. We're talking some fights, man. We're talking some fights. I think Johnson will lose a decision, losing the first 2 rounds and not going to bet it, though. Yeah, and I could see that. I could see it being a minute winner versus moment winner type fight where Johnson's, landing, double to triple the volume, but Temirov lands that one big shot and they give it to Temirov. I could see that. I'm nowhere near Kansas. But all right, let's move on to the next fight. We got Danny Silva going against Lucas Almeida. And yeah, this fight's going to be awesome. I think this has fight of the night written all over it. I'm a big fan of both these guys and their styles. Danny Silva, this is a guy that is willing to eat one to give one. The striking defense is non-existent. Really, both guys have non-existent striking defense. Both guys are down to stand and trade until one man falls. But yeah, I like Silva here. I don't love the minus 250, to be honest. That is certainly why, it opened up a pick 'em. So I don't like the minus 250, but I have to pick Silva here, and here's why. He just has more ways to win the fight. He's 6 years younger. Lucas Almeida, he missed weight. He's getting up there in age. He's taken a lot of damage throughout his career. Danny Silva, I think, is going to have more volume on the feet. I also think Danny Silva just has a clear path here, and that clear path is getting the fight down to the ground. And Danny Silva will mix in takedowns. And I think that's key in this fight because although Lucas Almeida is a black belt, both guys are black belts, but although Lucas Almeida is a black belt, anytime he's ended up on his back, it's looked tragic. It's looked absolutely tragic. And I'm not just talking about the Sabatini fight, which was a god-awful look, but I'm talking about other fights where he's getting taken down, stuck on his back, put into bad spots. So yeah, if Danny Silva can get him down, I feel like Danny Silva could potentially finish this fight by submission. I feel like Danny Silva could potentially knock out Almeida as well. So yeah, this is going to be an absolute car crash of a fight. If the Haqparast Ribovics fight wasn't on this card, this would be my pick to be fight of the night. But I think it's going to be the second best fight of the night. So yeah, I do have two bets here. I have the fight doesn't go -140 for 1.5 units. I see just a lot of finishing upside on both sides. I think if Almeida's winning this fight, he's landing a big shot. I can see Danny Silva winning by knockout or submission. And then I did take a half unit shot on Danny Silva by submission at +800. He actually has 0 submissions on his record. But like I said, if he gets this fight down to the ground, I think he's going to have a great opportunity to find the submission. Almost submitted Kulabau. Was very close to submitting Kulabau. But yeah, I like Silva here, and I think Silva's alive for that sub. Andrea Lee first round sub. That'd be wild. I mean, it'd be wild to see, Lee even get a win at this point, let alone a submission. But yeah, that's a hot take, man. We'll see. I'm not betting on that fight, but we'll see. All the YouTube pickers seem to have Silva, Mariscal, and Pinto as winning across the board. Yeah, and I think that makes sense. I think Pinto makes a lot of sense. Chepe makes a lot of sense. Silva's probably the one out of those three that I'd be a little bit worried about just because he's so hittable. He's so hittable. Almeida didn't even try to make weight. Yeah, not a great look. Not a great look. Almeida looked like he didn't even try to cut those 2 pounds. He missed, and Danny looked drained AF. Yeah, so he cheated. He cheated, and you guys know how I feel about cheaters. I don't like them. I don't like them. Yeah, if this fight goes the distance, Silva, I'm pretty confident Silva wins that decision just because he has so many paths to do so. But I'm hoping he finds that sub. He might get slept though. He might, dude. He might. I donated Gene Silva by sub last week. Probably won't go back to the well on that one. Not against Bryce Mitchell, but maybe in the future. But yeah, I think I picked sub, and I donated on Gene Silva 2-3. Like I needed him to at least wait like 50 more seconds to finish Melsick. But yeah, the Silva sub wasn't that close. All right, let's move on to the next fight. It is JJ Aldrich going against Andrea Lee. Not much to say here, guys. JJ Aldrich is -210. Her decision props -150. It just seems like an easy pass. I was actually looking to bet the split decision, but it's like +225, which is the worst split decision prop in UFC history. So it's an easy pass for me on this one. If anything, like to be honest, it's a dogger pass. But how do you put any money on Andrea Lee at this point? So it's a big giant pass for me. We got Dan, my bad. It's getting late. Dan saying result most likely based on Silva's fight IQ. If Almeida keeps it competitive, then Silva has the grappling. Yeah, I mean, if Silva wants to go out there and swing dicks with Almeida, it could end poorly for him, right? But yeah, dog's gonna be barking tomorrow. You heard it here first. Yeah, I can see it, man. I have 2 bets on 2 dogs, so I hope you're right. Andrea Lee, best GBP play. I don't mind it. JJ's my pick, but no bet. Right there with you. No bet. You can't lay -210 on JJ Aldrich. Avoid unless you have a sweaty bet, and yeah, nothing sticking out. What I will say, if you guys are on the Andrea Lee side, Andrea Lee by split decisions like +700. That did tickle my fancy a little bit. Not enough to bet on this fight, but that did tickle my fancy just a little bit. Lee is going to receive a piping. I don't know about that. JJ Aldrich really isn't piping anybody unless their name is Liang Na. She did pipe up Liang Na, but other than that, it's typically close. So we'll see. I find it hard to believe anybody's getting piped in this fight, but you never know. Anyway, this ladies' affair is a draw. Nobody wins. Everybody loses. Maybe if there's like a point deduction. I don't see a 10-8 personally, but it would have to be like a point deduction. All right, moving on to the next fight. It is Kape Mariscal going against Ricardo Ramos. A lot of monies came in on Ramos. Kape Mariscal was as low as minus 500, I think, on Thursday, Wednesday night, Thursday, and he's now minus 371. Ricardo Ramos was as high as plus 375. He's currently plus 296. So, yeah, a lot of monies came in on Ramos the last 24 to 48 hours. So, for me, you look at this fight, and it's like skill for skill. You match these two up, skill for skill. Kape's not minus 500. Kape's not minus 400. He's not minus 300. Skill for skill, these two are very close. I think Ramos has a lot of skill. I think Ramos has very underrated striking, solid power, BJJ black belt. The wrestling's not bad. Very well-rounded game, and he's fought some good guys. I think Ricardo Ramos is a good fighter. The problem with Ramos is the fact that, he's missing durability. This guy Ramos has been finished as many times as Austin Lane, right? 5 times, 3 by sub, 2 by knockout. And heart, right? I question the heart of Ricardo Ramos as well. And then you look at the Kape side, and it's like he has a ton of heart. Kape, that's his game. He has a ton of heart. He's super tough, good cardio, and well-rounded in his own right. So although I wouldn't be laying minus 400, minus 500 on Kape, I do think he wins this fight, and I do think he probably breaks Ramos, who's been broken and finished so many times. So what I have here is I think it's Kape 2-3. The 2-3 props, they're trash, and I'm not falling for the trap this time. I fell for it with Gene Silva. I'm not falling for it this time. And the reason being is Ricardo Ramos, 5 finish losses. All 5 of them actually come in the very first round. So when Ramos is getting finished, it's early. So I don't want to bet the 2-3 props and Kape finishes him in the first round and he quits in the first round. So I like just Kape inside the distance, minus 125. I have 2 units on it. Didn't want to get cute with a round here, but I do think he gives Ramos his 6th finish loss. I also don't mind the under 2.5 rounds, just because if Ramos is winning this fight, I do think he's catching Mariscal early, maybe with a big shot. So I kind of think Ramos is KO1 or bust. So yeah, I like Kape here. As long as that durability holds up, he should roll. He should roll. Lee used to be a scrapper, but now she's into Tony Kelly and pyramid schemes. I want to bet her, but no, I didn't hear about the pyramid schemes. Jeez. Do they think Ramos has the 3-hit combo that's going to land? Yeah, I think it would have to be like some type of knockout. I think that's how he wins, like some type of knockout. Ramos lacks heart, cardio. Yeah, I worry about the heart, cardio, durability. There's a couple fighters in this card where I do worry about the heart, and Ramos is one of them. Ramos early or no shot, I think, but unlikely. Fight has a durability factor, like you say. Yeah, I think it's Ramos KO1 or bust. We could see a Kape decision if Jason Herzog's in there. I mean, he let Damon Jackson last the full 15, even though Damon Jackson was unconscious on several different occasions. Maybe that could happen here. But yeah, Kape I think should get it done. Ramos win equities in the first 2.5 minutes. Kind of seen it the same. Kape decision is plus 225, and I think a lot of that has to do just with Ramos just getting finished so many times, right? Kape hasn't had any finishes in the UFC, but he did finish Damon Jackson on several occasions. The ref just didn't stop it, and then there was that Jack Jenkins injury. But I think he could finish Ramos. If I win this 100K tomorrow on DraftKings, I'll get a DFS by the numbers tattoo. I'm one of your day ones. We got a deal. If you win the 100K, get yourself a DFS tattoo. That'd be wild. All right. Moving on to the next fight. We got Danny Barlow going against Sam Patterson. So, what? I hope not. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong with a little sprinkle, but 10K on Ricardo Ramos. I don't know. I hope not. But yeah, Barlow, Patterson. So, yeah, this is a great fight. We got a striker versus grappler matchup. prospect versus prospect matchup. Big fan of both these guys, but yeah, Danny Barlow, pretty big favorite. What is he, minus 280? Patterson plus 240. I wouldn't lay minus 280 on Barlow just because Patterson does have a path to victory here. If this fight gets down to the ground, Patterson's very, very live to find a submission. Patterson's submission game is no joke, and Barlow has been put into some very bad spots on the ground. But how I kind of see this fight playing out is, every fight starts standing. Patterson doesn't really proactively grapple and wrestle as much as I'd like to see. It's just really hard to not imagine Danny Barlow touching the chin of Patterson, who's literally begging to be knocked out. I mean, Sam Patterson has some of the worst striking defense you'll ever see. What is it? On paper, his striking defense is 48%, which it's more like 20. Like, his hands are completely low, his chin's up in the air, and you're giving him to a guy whose nickname is literally left hand to God. So I think a Barlow KO certainly on the table, but if Patterson gets the fight down to the ground, I think he's live as well. I like the under here. I like the under. I did parlay up the under 2.5 rounds with the under 2.5 in the Brundage Marquez fight for 2.5 units. That's my violence parlay of the week. I like both fights to finish quite a bit. And I think somebody gets served here, whether it's a Barlow knockout, whether it's a Patterson sub. I think somebody's absolutely getting served. The over under set at 1.5 rounds. It's about a pick 'em. Yeah, I think it goes under 1.5. I just struggle to see Sam's chin lasting 7.5 minutes just with the style, the way he fights. But yeah, give me Barlow here. I saw the under 1.5 at minus 130. Maybe it's changed since. What do you think? Any value there? Yeah, it's even better now. It's like minus 108, best price. I like it. I'm on the under 2.5 in a parlay, getting that extra round in there. But like I said, I think I struggle to see Patterson's chin holding up for half the fight. Just, he's so hittable. I'm going to hold my nose and bet Patterson, watch him get sent to the Ghost Club. Do not tell. Yeah, it's a terrifying spot, but hey, he's a big dog. And that big dog, he has a path. And when you have a path, it could be worth a sprinkle. And yeah, I'm with the goose here. If I was to play Patterson, I would just sprinkle the sub, more specifically the sub 1-2, which I'm not doing, but that's kind of how I think he wins. It would be like a sub 1-2 type thing, and they're big numbers. Dixon saying, Brady, my hot take of the week is that the fight will end exactly like Jamal Hill versus Paul Craig. Sam is going to snap his arm. Dan won't tap. Ref stops the fight, TKO. Sam sub and Danny KO miss. Vegas wins. That is a crazy hot take. That'd be wild. So we'll see. Brundage versus Marquez to go the distance is sneaky. Might just be a lay and pray slot fest. I personally think it ends in the very first round. And we'll talk about why. But Brundage just doesn't want to be in there. And he admitted that. So I think it ends very quickly. But who knows? I mean, that fight's ridiculous. 1,200 for the Sam KO? That'd be crazy. Patterson got knocked out at 155. He's been looking good at 170, going plus 400 all day. I'm picking up what you're putting down, but he looked good against Kiefer Crosby and Johan Lioness, two of the worst fighters in the division. But I'm picking up what you're putting down. Brady, real quick, who do you want to see more? Topuria versus Islam or Makhachev? Okay, so Topuria versus Islam Makhachev or John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. What do I want to see more? Probably the Topuria Islam fight. I think I'd go with that one. But they're both phenomenal fights. It's close, man. I'm a big John Jones fan, really big Tom Aspinall fan too. But Topuria Islam would be insane. Dixon must have had the updated script. We'll see. We'll see if that'd be a crazy call. That'd be as crazy as when Verna Jandaroba got a knockout win against the Murata, and I had to rip up my submission ticket. All right, let's move on to the next fight. We got William Gomis going against Hyder Amil. We got William Gomis minus 220. and Haider Amil plus 185. So, yeah, interesting fight. So, William Gomis, I think he needs to change his nickname. The nickname currently is the Jaguar. I think he needs to change his nickname to Split or Majority Decision, because that's all this guy does. Just close fights. He does absolutely nothing, but he does hypnotize his opponents into also doing nothing and doing even less. So maybe he should change his nickname to the Hypnotist. William the Hypnotist Gomis lands about 2 strikes per minute. His opponents land about 1. 71% striking defense, which is one of the best, if not the best, in the UFC. Very good at avoiding the fight is William Gomis. And that's why this matchup's so weird, because you have a guy in William Gomis who doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want to be in there. He wants to run away for 15 minutes and do absolutely nothing, versus a guy in Haider Amil who's the complete opposite. He wants to take your head off. He wants to finish you. He wants to fight. He wants to press forward. So I don't know. I mean, I like Amil here as a dog, especially a plus 185. Like, when has William Gomis ever looked minus 220 in a fight ever? He just hasn't. Like, I thought he lost the Brito fight. He went to a close decision with Jarno Aarons. Went to a close decision with Francis Marshall. Had a fake knockout against Yanni Skimori. I think at the very worst case scenario, Gomis probably wins a split decision. So, yeah, I'm taking a shot on Amil. With that said, though, skill for skill, who's the more skilled fighter? It's Gomis all day. Gomis is so skilled, but Haider Amil's a dog. Haider Amil's going to try to go out there and fight. He's going to try to go out there and finish the fight. He's going to be landing some big shots. He's going to be coming forward. He's going to be doing more. So, yeah, I don't get this line. I really honestly don't get this line. But we'll see. Maybe William split or majority decision. Gomis gets it done again. But you have I have a 1 unit shot on Amil plus 185. Line is still plus. To be honest, I kind of thought I'd get some CLV, but a lot of people liking the Gomis side. So we shall see. Amil finish only. Gomis couldn't finish a sandwich. Well, you gotta throw something to finish a fight. You gotta do something to finish a fight, and Gomis doesn't throw anything. Gomis fights like he's playing Street Fighter and has to save his health bar. I think it's a great way to put it. Very, very defensively sound. Gomis, a point fighter, will jump around and make it boring. I hope not. I mean, that's why I hate this matchup, and I hate why the matchmakers did this. Like, why are you giving such a fun and exciting fighter like Amil to the most boring fighter in UFC history? I just don't get it. Have seen Gomis in some sketchy positions on the ground, and Amil does wrestle and trap people against the cage. Yeah, Gomis was almost submitted by Francis Marshall. He was almost submitted twice by Joe Anderson Brito, and he was almost submitted by Jarno Aarons. So he's been put into a sketchy position in every fight outside of the Gamori fight. I truly have no idea how this fight goes. Easiest pass ever. How I think it probably goes is, which is going to be annoying, William Gomis probably wins a split decision and looks minus 110. But hey, he's Williams split or majority decision for a reason. I think your hate for Gomis. I don't hate the guy. I don't hate this guy at all. My judgment, no, it's not true. This is a setup for a particular Gomis KO. What? That's a hot take, man. Because to knock out somebody, you got to throw, right? I'm just kidding. I could honestly see a Gomis KO. Haider Amil is very, very hittable. I also don't mind the fight doesn't go, but it'd be one of those bets where you're screaming at your TV because Gomis is running away. But no, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Amil, not a stack. Heck yeah. Gomis' worst enemy tomorrow is the smaller Apex cage. Amil's second round KO. Yep, the smaller cage does favor Amil. Brady always looks like he would smell pretty good. Just hop out of the shower not too long ago. Appreciate you, Nuggy Nugs. Would love to see what you smell like. Welcome to the Gomis verse. If Amil doesn't show up for that finish, yeah, he's put everybody into the Gomis verse thus far. I think the UFC matched them up for a force action on Gomis and see how he does. I think they tried to do that with Brito and it didn't really work out, but I'm hoping you're right, man. All right. Let's move on to the next fight. And we have Mario Pinto versus Austin Lane. We have Mario Pinto as the biggest favorite on the card. He is currently sitting as a, minus 515. Austin Lane plus 400. So Austin Lane has looked a lot better than I expected thus far in the UFC. He actually won a UFC fight, which I thought would never happen in a million years. So we got to give Austin Lane some props. But anytime Austin Lane has looked good has been against Jonathan Deniz, who has absolutely no ground game, absolutely no takedown defense. He took down Deniz in the first round and won the round, and then gassed out in the second. And then against Rebellis to Spain, who has the worst ground game probably in UFC history, and won a 15-minute decision. So what I was looking for in Pinto is, can this guy stuff a takedown? And the answer is yes. Yes, he can. Pinto's actually really well-rounded for a heavyweight. You know, typically we don't see well-rounded heavyweights. There's not a ton of them. There's not a ton of heavyweights on the roster in general, but there's not a ton of well-rounded heavyweights. But Pinto's one of them, man. He can pretty much do it all. He can stuff takedowns. He can scramble a bit. He's hard to take down, hold down. Can even mix in takedowns in his own right. But yeah, in terms of the striking, it's one-way traffic. Austin Lane, the only way I see him having success is if he does indeed take down Pinto. I don't see it, especially for 15 minutes. Like, this is not Rebellis to Spain who's going to get taken down and lay there. So yeah, and then on the feet, you know, Pinto, although not a murderous power puncher, I don't think he needs to be to knock out Lane, who's very chinny, who's very hittable, who has tall man's defense, who has poor cardio, especially when the fight's not going his way. So yeah, I think it's Pinto here, and I think it's Pinto by KO. I'm on the Pinto KO, minus 138 for 2 units. Don't typically like laying chalk on a prop like that, but Lane's been finished by knockout in all 5 of his losses. And all 5 of those knockout losses do come under 1.5. But I think the knockout for Pinto could happen really in any round. So I'm on the Pinto knockout. I think he should go out there and make this look pretty easy. Let's see here. Lane decision for me, plus 1100. That's my kind of line. Hopefully you bet it against the Spain, because it was plus 1100 against the Spain too, man. But yeah, if he's winning, it's the decision. Does Pinto have a get up game? Yes. And a 100 times better get up game than Despain. Pinto is well-rounded. Lane isn't the slightest well-rounded. Pinto is sending Lane, who's been KO'd 5 or 6 times, to the Shadow Realm. Yeah, and I also think it could be like attritional. Even the Deniz was kind of attritional, where, you know, Deniz rocked Lane and just started to put him on him. I could see that. I could see, you know, Pinto rocking Lane, making him wobble around and just unloading on some volume and getting him out of there. I hit Cannonier round 4 plus 2,500. Jeez. I missed Menefield round 3 last week. Anybody have a round 3 lean this card? I know a lot of people are on Charles Johnson, which I'm hoping doesn't happen, because if Johnson does get a round 3, I do have to get a Skullet. But my only round 3 look this week is in the Ribovics fight. Yeah, Ribovics. Yeah, that'd be the only round 3 I would look at. Also Chepe, but I think Chepe could finish in any round. Brady, now that you know I'm on Lane decision, I parlayed it with Sammy P by KO plus 1,200 for a grand total plus 15,500. Put $1 on it for funsies. Why not? You know, you gotta have fun. You gotta have fun. So why not, man? All right, we'll keep moving on to the next fight. It is Esteban Ribovics going against Nasrat Haqparast. And yeah, this has to be fight of the night. I think this is going to be a very fun fight. The only knock I've ever had on Ribovics is his takedown defense is non-existent. His takedown defense is pretty much a Kimura attempt. But in this matchup, he's going to get the fight he wants, which is going to be a dick-swinging contest. And I think it's all going to come down to who has the bigger dick. And I think the answer to that is Esteban Ribovics. I don't know. I just don't like how Haqparast reacts to getting hit. I don't like how he reacts to pressure. It looked like Jared Gordon was on his way to breaking Haqparast in his last fight. It was a very bad look. He was getting busted up. He was kind of running away in there against Jared Gordon. I think Ribovics can really put it on Haqparast, really hurt Haqparast, and potentially break him as well. Like, Ribovics can land upwards of 100 to 150 significant strikes with power, volume, pace, and pressure. So, yeah, I like Ribovics here, and I think he's live to be the second person ever to knock out a durable Haqparast. But yeah, I have two spots here I like. I'm on the fight doesn't go at plus 150 for a unit, and then I also sprinkled the Ribovics 2-3 props, plus 900 round 2, plus 1400 round 3. I think he can overwhelm Haqparast here and break him and get him out of their lanes. So yeah, I like that fight doesn't go though. Like, if Ribovics is very hittable, like we can see it here. He's very hittable. He has a good chin in his own right, but Haqparast has a lot of power. Haqparast is like 7 or 8 knockdowns in the UFC. So yeah, with all the firepower being thrown in this fight, I think a finish, especially at plus money, is not a bad look here. But yeah, I like Ribovics in this one. Ribovics' last fight was fight of the year at that Mexican card at the Sphere. Yeah, that fight was an incredible fight. And he arguably did finish Zellhuber in round 3, in my opinion. Running away is not intelligently defending yourself. It's just not. Yep, he did. He got knocked out by Dober in round 1. That was when Dober was more so in his prime. But yeah, he did get knocked out. Ready, everyone is on Ribovics this week. I'm being forced to play Nazareth by decision as a hedge and to be contrarian system play. Yeah, no, I agree. I haven't really seen anybody on Haqparast this week, and I think a lot of it has to do with Ribovics' last fight. Ribovics going to get that finish. I hope so, and I think it comes late. I think it's attritional. Like I said, I think Jared Gordon was close to finishing Haqparast. I was worried that he would finish because I had Jared Gordon by decision, which obviously didn't cash because the judges are crooked and corrupt. But yeah, I think Ribovics can put it on him here. All right, moving on to the moment everybody has been waiting for. It is the co-main event. It is Julian Marquez going against Cody Brundage. And yeah, I mean, obviously the 1-800 gambler fight of the week. We have a straight pick 'em here now. Money's been pouring in on Cody Brundage. What could go wrong? About minus 110 each way on most books at this point. So, yeah, if you're betting on this fight, best of luck to you. If you're betting on either one of these guys, because there's red flags on both sides. With Marquez, you have a guy that just quite frankly, I'm not sure what he's good at. You know, he's a guy that he has some heart. He used to be durable, not anymore, but he has some heart, has some power, and has a sneaky submission game. You know, those are the nice things I can say about Marquez. Cody Brundage, you know, probably the more skilled fighter. You know, he can wrestle a little bit. He has some power, but I'm worried about both these guys. I'm worried about the non-existent durability of Marquez, and I'm worried about Brundage in terms of, yeah, just a very, very bad nail. Good hammer, bad nail type fighter. And yeah, I was listening to Brundage's interview, and shout out to Cody Brundage, man. Probably one of the realest guys out there, and a phenomenal guy, phenomenal dude, great person. And he was real in his interview, and he was talking about how in the past he just wanted to get in and get out. And there's a couple fighters like that in the UFC. Some don't admit it, but he didn't want to be in there. Brundage didn't want to be in there. It's terrifying to be in there, right? And he'd say, like, basically when the going gets tough, he'd try to, you know, look for a way out, stuff like that, right? And you can see it in his fights. He was also talking about how he's been battling concussions recently, which, you know, you don't typically like to hear. So there's a lot of red flags. There's a lot of red flags on this fight. I almost had a stroke picking one of these guys because I don't want to pick either one of these guys, but give me the guy with more heart, and that is Julian Marquez. But it's disgusting, you know, it's very disgusting, you know, picking Julian Marquez at this point. From a betting perspective, like I said, I parlayed the under 2.5 with the under 2.5 in the Barlow fight. I think this fight actually finishes in the first round. I think it's going to be quick. No matter how you slice it, the under 1.5, it's completely juiced. It's like minus 165. And I think a lot of that has to do with just the way Brundage fights. Every Brundage win has came in the first round. I don't recall him ever winning a second round in the UFC. So, yeah, I think it ends in the first round. I'm picking Marquez with not a lot of confidence. One spot that I don't mind, though, I'm looking at like the Marquez KO at plus 475. That's a big number going against Brundage, who, will look for a way out and has been battling with some concussion symptoms. So yeah, Marquez by KO. I haven't bet it because I don't want to, and I could also see a Marquez club and sub, which is what I'm picking, but the sub's like plus 200. Like get out of here. That's one of the worst lines I've ever seen in my life. How are we going to price the sub like plus 200? But the KO plus 475, I don't hate it. Literally just flip a coin and trust the coin. Pretty much, man. Pretty much. Pinto versus Kape for a DraftKings play. Kape, but yeah, I don't mind Pinto either. But if I had to pick one, it's Kape for me. I think the 9K range this week is pretty stacked. Just remember, Brundage is also getting starched by Rodriguez. Oh my gosh. I mean, that fight wouldn't even be sanctioned. Rodriguez versus Brundage. And then, yeah, I think Barlow would do the same thing, round 2 knockout. This is easy. You have to bet Marquez. You don't have to. You don't have to do that. I don't know, man. Brady, I'm going to go out on a limb and calling for Marquez round 2, head and arm choke, triangle choke, and a sprinkle round 3 as well, but I think it's round 2. I think that's what I picked, actually, a round 2 club and sub. But I just don't like the odds on the sub. I don't like it. Do not trust Brunt. Yeah, I don't trust either one of these guys. Man, you can argue the entire main card should be the prelims. Yeah, I think that Johnson-Temirov fight should easily be on the main card. But it's the opening prelim. It's weird. I just dropped. What is up? No, it's demonic. Marcus won by finish. That's what I'm picking. Wait, wrong chat, Brady. I'm fried. I'm about to send a Jessica Andrade pick now because you see me tweak. Don't do that, dude. Don't do that. Please don't do that. It ruined I had a good day today. Very productive day. Got a little bit of a head for next week for UFC 313. It was a good day. But if you send me that, my day will be ruined. So please don't do that. We got Victor in the building. What is up, Victor? Good to see you. What's up, Brady? Nice to catch you live, brother. Best of luck this weekend. You as well, Victor. Hopefully you're doing well, my guy. I got to assume if Marquez asked Miley out, that he don't have kids. So I lean Marquez too much on the. Ever since that happened, though, ever since the Miley Cyrus situation, Marquez has completely went downhill. So that was kind of his downfall. All right. Let us move on to the main event. We have Manel Kape going against Almabaev. I don't have a bet on this fight yet, but I will. I was hoping money was coming in on Almabaev. Like, I see a lot of people on him, but the line is doing like the opposite of that. Manel Kape minus 225 now. Almabaev plus 190. I guess what I'm struggling with is how to kind of play this fight. I might go money line for Manel. They also have like the same game parlays, Manel Kape in the over 1.5. It's like minus 125. I don't mind that. Only concern would be like if Manel Kape shows up and really wants to, I think he could finish in the first round. But stylistically, I love this. I love this matchup for Manel Kape. I feel like this is a fight he really shouldn't lose. This is his fight to lose. He has all the tools to win this fight. I highly doubt Asu is going to be able to take down and hold down Manel Kape. I think Manel Kape's takedown defense, scrambling ability, and BJJ has improved, just leveled up, just completely leveled up since the last couple of years. So yeah, I think it's going to take place on the feet, and on the feet, it's like Manel Kape is the 10 times better striker. The problem with Manel Kape is sometimes he just decides to do nothing, and that would be the one worry. If I could trust Manel Kape to go out there and have some urgency, show some IQ, I'd be max betting him here. But there could be a situation where Manel Kape beats himself. I think for Manel Kape to lose this fight, he's going to have to beat himself. So, yeah, I love Kape here. Wish the line would come in a little bit. I'm going to keep waiting, but I will have a bet on Kape in some sort of fashion. Maybe the money line, maybe the Kape over 1.5, something like that. But I do like Kape to get it done regardless. I think it's a great matchup for him, but we'll see. GMP, Kape can't wrestle. He can, though, man. I mean, Pantoja wasn't able to take him down. Nicolau wasn't able to take him down. Mikhaev wasn't able to take him down. I think Kape is very, very hard to take down and hold down. So quite frankly, I'd be shocked if Osu is able to do that. But we'll see. Osu's looked good, but it's a big, big step up. Manel Kape needs a finisher. Otherwise, he's not getting a title shot. We saw it with Mikhaev. He got passed as well. And yeah, I mean, if Manel Kape wants to finish this guy, he will. It's just, sometimes Manel Kape makes it a lot harder on himself. AI says that it leans Bilal Muhammad. It also don't lean Leon Edwards. And those are going to be some good fights there. Miley piped him. Kape just lays on his back looking for subs when taken down. He didn't do that in the Mikhaev fight. He did it for a little bit in the Nicolau fight, and then also outside the UFC, he's done that. But I don't know. He's very hard to take down and keep down. Kape should win. I just wish I could trust him to actually throw punches. Yep, that's the concern. If Kape lost, how far would this loss put him down? Pretty far down, because the Mikhaev fight put him down pretty far as well. Thanks for the Friday night show, Brady. Best of luck tomorrow. Best of luck to you as well, Ian. All right, about to head out of here, guys. Going to do a quick recap. Nothing on the Kape fight yet, but I will be betting Kape in some sort of fashion. Might sleep on it, see where the line went, and maybe place the bet tomorrow. Julian Marquez, Brundage. Parlay the under 2.5 with the under 2.5 in the Barlow Patterson and keeping it at that. But I think somebody gets served early on. And then also may take a little sprinkle at the Marquez KO. Plus 475. Ribovics, Haqparast. I like the fight doesn't go. I like Ribovics round 2, round 3. I like Pinto by knockout. I like the Amil money line, but it could be a frustrating Gomis split decision. Like I said, under 2.5 in the Barlow Patterson in a parlay. I like Kape to finish Ricardo Ramos for the 6th time in his career. Nothing on the Aldrich fight. I like Danny Silva's submission sprinkle and the fight doesn't go. And then I like Charles Johnson on the money line. And then also potential live bet on Charles Johnson. 4 a.m. Gee, that's 11 here. 11 here. I'm getting tired and it's 11. So shout out to Dan for hanging out 4 a.m. Appreciate that, Dan. Yeah, 4-5 decision is kind of what I'm leading to. All right. Now Gringo will smash. I'm thinking so as well. All right, guys. Thank you all for hanging out. If you guys could do me a favor, like on your way out, subscribe on your way out, and then be on the lookout for best bet tomorrow, 3:15 Eastern time, around there. Be on the lookout for it. And yeah, should be a fun night of fights. Best of luck, guys. We'll talk to you soon and see you later.